Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notifications so you are notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to every one of you for all the love and support you all showering me here with. I am super grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important that happened. It was actually about Coco Gauff and Laura. Actually, they played tennis, and Coco actually won. And trust me, what happened in that game was just something unbelievable. But when you are playing with a palm-colored woman, anything or like almost everything is possible. And also the referee is also a palm-colored woman, and they made the game very tough for Coco, the black woman. And mind you, Coco is 19 years, while Laura is like 30 something years. And the fact that all she wanted to do was just to cheat on that little black girl was just very alarming. And then she ended up crowning it with white woman's tears and all that. I don't know that I will ever come on media and start crying. This is my first time crying on media. Like, are you being real right now that you are being cheated while you were the one that cheated? I mean, it's really amazing how people do things like this and think it's okay. She was extremely slow to serve throughout the game, and Coco kept complaining to the referee. I mean, she kept complaining because everything was like going against her. The lady was also working against her. And where they were not supposed to sit down, she actually sat down. Coco was not having it, and she kept reminding and telling them, man, this is what is going on. You all are seeing it. Why is it that she's not getting, like, she's not getting penalty or something for what she is doing and the rest? Okay, in the end, Coco actually won, and she is very talented and all that. Then that boils down to where black people have to really work extra hard to meet their counterpart, and that really sucks. If this thing is still happening, what am I saying? This is still happening in 2023. I am going to roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. I absolutely want to read all your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Let's get into it.
Okay, I feel like I'm going to quickly explain the issues that were happening in this match, because Laura serving slow was only part of it. In tennis, after a point is played, the umpire will call the score and then start the shot clock, meaning the server has 25 seconds to serve the ball. Every time, Laura was making the shot clock run to zero before she started her service motion. Like, she can serve as slow as she wants as long as it's within that 25 seconds. After doing it several times, the umpire finally gave Laura a warning. But not only was she doing that, she was making Coco wait when it was her turn to serve. In tennis, you have to go the pace of the server. Even if the server is going too fast for your liking, that's too bad. So things bubbled over when Coco hit a serve and Laura threw up her hands saying she wasn't ready. Coco had enough. She confronted the umpire.
She's saying the umpire is giving Laura extra time. I've watched this clip so many times.
I cut that clip short so you can go on ESPN to see the full thing. But she's 100% right. Laura should not be making her wait on her serve. And Laura had already gotten a warning. She made her wait again, and then that ended in a point penalty, which ended up giving Coco the game for 5-1. Though this was entertaining, this was definitely a loss of focus moment for Coco. She was up 5-1 and ended up losing the next 3 games. But she did end up coming through and winning the match. But yeah, that was the drama. And in Coco's words, the match was very slow.
Get out your American flags and screaming eagles, because we're having a patriotic moment. This right here is 19-year-old Coco Gauff. She's a tennis pro who is playing in the U.S. Open, which takes place in Queens, New York, and she told her German competitor, "Look, lady, we're here in the United States of America where I have the right to a speedy trial, and you're going to give it to me." During the match, Gauff complained that the German competitor continued to take too much time between serves and was constantly not ready when it was her turn to be served too. And the chair judge was doing nothing about it. This woman is twice Gauff's age, and she antagonized her the entire first set. The chair ref was also allowing the German competitor to sit, which is apparently against the rules. You're not allowed to sit down in between sets. So Gauff appealed to the chair ref, telling her she's sitting down, she's taking too much time between serves, you're taking too long to call the score, which is giving her even more time in between serves, and it's not fair. And the chair ref did end up issuing a 1-point penalty to the German. And Gauff won the match, but the German was complaining that the U.S. audience was being disrespectful to her. And little girls are watching. You damn right little girls are watching Gauff win. The crowds, the refs, and Billie Jean King, a tennis icon, are all on the side of Gauff, saying that this match was insane and there should have been penalties earlier even. And let us not forget, while we're talking about women's sports, that there was a time where they tried to prove that men were superior to women, and Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs. Here she is, winning Battle of the Sexes. USA! USA!
And yeah, I think it's the first time I'm crying in a press conference.
All joking aside, I just this demon that's riding right now, the audacity right now. I think about the Montgomery Riverboat incident and the fact that they were just beating the man in broad daylight, and the fact that this lady is sitting here now in this press conference sobbing because she's been hard done by. She's been treated, she's been rolled hard and put away with. I didn't see it. All I saw was somebody who was just feeling very entitled. And let me just say to the group of people who look like her, she expects, when she is behaving like that, the dishonorable, nasty way she's behaving, she expects you to be the umpire. She expects you to enable her, to obfuscate, to sit there and lie and try to make everything seem like this is perfectly okay, to cover for her. So for all you moderates, all you independent sideliners, just one piece, your honor, you're a placeholder. Your honor, your honesty, whatever you choose to be in this lifetime is co-opted by people who behave dishonorably, who are terrorists, who are murderers, who are psychotic human beings. And they co-opt you and your silence. You are counted in that number. You are counted in the number of monstrous situations. And people want to say, not all. But how am I to identify? This woman stood out there being extraordinarily nasty and being allowed to be extraordinarily nasty. And it was up to the woman who had to handle her business and the umpire's business and remain ladylike and reasonable and calm. It was the third set before she spoke up. In the meantime, she was just adjusting, overcoming, fighting, doing what was necessary to win in the honorable way. So I just want this to be a lesson and a word to those who, I'm a moderate. I just want everyone to get along. Everyone can't get along when someone is determined to crush, to destroy, to steal, to kill, to cheat. You see what's going on in this country and this world. And yet you sit on the sidelines and then you have the nerve to say, Coco handled that with such grace. What if she had went up there and cursed everybody out from A to Z, destroyed her racket, kicked down the net, and choked out the woman? What would happen then? Would she have been wrong? Sure. would she have had a lot of encouragement to go down that road? Absolutely. You can't have it both ways. You can't have peace and just sit around and allow chaos. That is a sickening display. Did you see her sitting there sobbing like somebody had been just, like the roles were reversed? That was awful to watch. And I had my laughs and made my little stitches and do it, but what I'm watching with all of this honorable behavior, this dishonorable behavior from the Republic, going in on January 6th and doing everything they did and actually thinking that they should not be punished and expecting everyone who looks like them to go along, and everyone who looks like them pretty much goes along. If you are silent, you've gone along. If you're saying, well, they'll certainly get them. If you're doing anything but giving a full-throated, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't agree with that. I will fight that to the very end. Because those types of people expect you to be the umpire, to enable, to cover, to lie.
This girl tried to use her privilege on the new tennis star sister, Coco Gauff. If you're not hip to her, you got to get hip to her now. And she was not having it. Laura was trying to intentionally slow up play, breaking all kind of rules, and the ref or judge or whatever you call it was letting her get away with it until Coco called her out. She was basically trying to slow up play while Coco was serving, and the rules state that whoever's serving, the other person got to play at their pace. The ref or judge was trying not to do that and enforce that rule, but when Coco called her out and the crowd got behind her, the ref eventually started enforcing it, and then Laura got mad and ended up losing and walked off very disrespectful, and then had the nerve to try to cry crocodile tears and make herself the victim, saying, why was everybody treating her so bad? But Coco Gauff, if you're not hip to her, she the new sister, the new Serena. We got to get behind her. Let me know in the comments if you already know about her. If not, let us know what you feel about this. I'm out.
The situation with Coco Gauff and the girl who was playing against Coco Gauff, because that's all she'll ever be to me, is Coco Gauff's opponent. That's as good as she's going to get. It's so damn classic, man. I mean, it is so like what black women go in the workforce every day. Like, you have a white woman who literally feels as if the black woman is supposed to give her, what are we supposed to give her? We're supposed to understand. Like, she's supposed to slow down her game. Although they're in competition with each other, she expects Coco to slow down her game. Coco wasn't going too fast. She didn't break any rules. But the white girl thought that she should serve more slowly so she could have a break. And the white girl was so entitled. Now here she is on a professional level. She was sitting down during the breaks. Like, you're not allowed to sit down. She knows the rules. She knows she's not allowed to sit down. But entitlement made her sit her little ass down and thought it would be okay. And the thing is that it was. Because guess who was judging her? Guess who the referee was? Another white woman who probably claims that she's as liberal as she could be. But guess what? She relates to the other white woman. She had sympathy for the white woman. She had empathy for the white woman. And let the girl sit down. And Coco is sitting up there having to argue and fight and advocate for herself just for basic fairness. Because she's beating her ass with her talent. But the way the world is set up, the way things are set up, the way that she has right here, the thing of white supremacy and racism going on because the two women are relating to one another and the white referee is letting her get away with shit that she shouldn't get away with. She got to sit up and advocate for herself. And that is the plight, the weight of black people in America. Like, we can't just win off of our talents. We also then have to fight against the privilege. We have to fight against the systemic racism. We have to fight against the biases that people are going to give unfair advantage to those that they can relate most to. And then when we fight against it, usually we're seen as being hard to get along with, or not, or improper, or ghetto, just because we're having to fight for the simplest things. I mean, when I say it was so interesting to see it played out on a court instead of in a court, which it usually is, or in an office building, or in just jobs every day. The shit is so classic. It's sad. But go Coco. Go Coco. We beat that ass.
It's the first time I'm crying in a press conference. I thought...
Boohoo. Honestly, boohoo. As a performer and someone who plays sports, even now as an adult, if you're good at the game, you don't need any gimmicks. If you're good at the game, you don't need to perform, because people come to watch good players. They don't come to watch antics or tricks or plays. They come to watch good players play a good game. And you didn't play a good game. You wasted everyone's time and played slowly and did all your little hoopla, and now you're surprised that people don't like it. All you had to do was be good, babe. All you had to do was play the game. That's it. Good. Doesn't need gimmicks.
I'm crying in a press conference. I thought you're as a tennis player.
Wrong. Some of y'all don't know this about me, but I played tennis in high school and I was really fucking good. That's Laura Siegemund. She's a 35-year-old grown-ass woman, and she's crying because she recently lost Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff and Laura Siegemund are both pro. The difference is Coco Gauff is 19 and she's been pro since she was 14. That's fucking badass, dude. Anyway, what happened was Laura Siegemund knew she wasn't going to beat this girl. Okay, she's half her age. She's twice as talented. She knew she wasn't going to beat this girl, so she tried to get into Coco's head by seemingly really insignificant rules, like sitting down during the match. Not allowed to do that. You may not sit during a match. She also broke other rules that were less insignificant, at least to me, in my opinion, like going to get her towel while Coco was getting ready to serve. No, absolutely not. For my barrel racers, that's like barely putting the saddle on your horse while they're calling you into the arena. What? Anyway, none of that shit worked and Coco still won. And Coco also called her out in front of the ref because the ref was also like this the whole time. The whole time. And when Coco was like, hey man, she's not allowed to sit down. She is intentionally delaying my serves, etc., etc. And she was letting the points go, by the way. So if you're not there for a serve, and the other player serves, guess what? You just lose the point. That's on you. You should have been there. You should have been ready. But instead of counting those points, she was letting it go. The ref, she was up. Anyway, Laura Siegemund has been pro since like 2006. So what is that? Like 18, 19 years, 17 years, something like that. And you mean to tell me you didn't know that you can't sit down during a match? You mean to tell me that you didn't know you had to be in your ready to return position during a serve? Bull fucking shit, cry to somebody who cares. You owe the people a performance. Well, you're sure giving them one, aren't you? You know what else you owe the people? Being ready for a fucking serve. Not sitting during the match. That's what you really owe the people, but the rules don't apply to you, right? Siegemund? We got it. Anyway, this shit really pissed me off because it was really clear to me what was going on here, the dynamic and why she was doing it, and what her motivations were. As someone who's played tennis and has experienced this exact dynamic, yeah, that shit doesn't fly. And Coco didn't let it bother her. So good for you, Coco. A true fucking professional since the age of 14. And I'm not going to name the elephant in the room, because if you watched that video and you Google it or you've seen other clips about it on TikTok today, you know why. You know why. Anyway, I have to get back to work. I have a spreadsheet that's been due since yesterday.
You're, as a tennis player, you are a performer.
No, you're an athlete. But you, miss, you are a performer. Not about the tennis court, but those tears, ace that for real. It is so interesting how a certain demographic, they can weaponize their tears. Like, it actually intrigues me so much, because I was that kid that grew up also watching Disney Channel and thinking, how do I learn how to cry real tears so that I become the British therapy kid? How do I do that? But I guess it's just something in the genes that makes it just come so easy to that demographic. My thing is, how as a grown woman are you going to sit there and cry? The person that you played isn't even your age mates. Blessed Coco that she is. Sweet, sweet, sweet Coco. You're junior. Small, small girl. But you want to sit there and cry because your feelings got hurt? Because they called you out, they clocked that tea, and you're just not getting away with it like you used to. The demographic needs to start realizing that you guys, it's not going to happen the way that it used to happen for you guys. This is a 2023, we're in a new decade, we're in a new season. Don't cry because people are calling you a bad person because they treated you like a bad person, the bad person that you are. We're not going to sit here and coddle grown women. We're not going to sugarcoat nothing for you. Plain and simple, you're a bad person. If you can sit there and think, I'm going to put my fragility and my feelings over the everyday realities of, and injustices that people face, the obstacles that people face, because I don't like when the world is catered towards me, you are a bad person. That's just what it is. You have to call a spade, a trough, a trough. Imagine telling your opponent to play less well. You're playing too well, play less well. They're lucky they didn't call you the clown that you are, and that they're only treating you and not even calling you dead face a bad person. I'm not done, because she quite literally played a stupid game, and here's her stupid prize, tarnishing her pretty much non-existent career. Reputation where? But it's definitely not in the room with us no more. Some people's generational talents are, I don't know, rhythm, storytelling, but I guess for Siegemund on Freundlich here, hers is activating her cold dead tear ducts to mask her own mediocrity. Even after the stupidity, you're using this moment to overshadow her win. It don't get more insidious and nefarious than that. It's like, deep, not only did she weaponize her tears, but she decided to tag team it with her weaponized incompetence. No, because riddle me this, how do you forget the rules to a game that you've been playing longer than your opponent's even been able to hold a racket with one hand for? It's not making sense, is it? No, it's not, because it don't. But that's all I got to say about that.
That clip reminded me of just how fragile a lot of white women are when they're held accountable, and the ways in which black women have been treated in sports. That first clip of that German player crying is because she was purposely being slow in that game and was crying when she was held accountable because Coco had to play the ref and play the game because the ref was not playing fairly. It also reminded me of a clip from Kristen Press's podcast where she talks about how the vitriol for the U.S. women's national team has never happened or something like that. And when I heard that, I was like, maybe in a team sport, but it's happened many times to black women athletes. And there aren't a lot of team sports for women to play professionally and make a career out of. Like, the only ones are soccer and basketball. A lot of the sports that black women are experiencing racism are non-team sports. So let's talk about how misogynoir is oppressing black women athletes. Serena Williams, the greatest tennis player of all time, has been dealing with racism throughout her whole career. It's something that I specifically remember about watching her. Here's an article from 2009 on why is the racism and sexism against Venus and Serena Williams ignored, because they both experienced it. And a lot of this they experienced as literal children because they started professional when they were 16. In 2015 at the French Open, people were calling Serena Williams ugly, unattractive, that she looks like a gorilla. And I remember the way that they treated her when she was playing up against Anna Kournikova, even though Anna Kournikova wasn't very good and she always lost, but they focused on her so much because Anna Kournikova was a conventionally attractive, thin, white woman. Sha'Carri Richardson has experienced a lot of racism, and she's definitely in her comeback era, but in 2021, when she tested positive for marijuana, people called her ghetto, ratchet, too loud, and she wasn't able to compete in the Olympics, even though Kamila Valieva, a Russian athlete, tested positive for a banned substance that is performance enhancing because marijuana is not, and she was still allowed to compete. Let's talk about how transphobia affects black cis women, because Caster Semenya, a long-distance runner, is unable to compete in world athletics because she naturally produces higher levels of testosterone. And the only way she can compete is if she does unnatural things to her body to reduce her natural testosterone level. And this is also what gets me, because when transphobes talk about trans women and trans athletes in sports, I don't hear them talking about cis women who get banned. We have Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast probably ever to exist. Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast of all time, not only experienced sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, but also racism. They tried to ban a move that Simone Biles could do because nobody else could do it. You have people like Michael Phelps who are applauded for their superhuman abilities, while black women are punished when they are better than the rest. You had Angel Reese of the LSU Tigers during the finals in the NCAA women's basketball tournament. She's subjected to vitriolic racism because of a hand gesture, even though the white athlete did the same exact thing to her before and was getting applauded for being a competitive player. When we talk about the way that women are treated in sports, we have to include the way that black women not only have to deal with sexism, patriarchy, and misogyny, but racism as well, and black women cannot be left out of these conversations when it comes to the treatment of women in sports.
That's not the consequences of her own fucking actions. Have you seen this white woman crying on the internet? Do you know why she's crying? Because she's a cheater and a bully, and she cheated yesterday in a match and was called out on it because she manipulated the game in a way that we haven't seen in a really long time. And not only that,
this is all I got from the stitches, and I watched this video. I mean, like, I watched them playing the match, and I was like, what the hell? I mean, Coco was all professional and doing her thing, but Laura was no way. All she wanted was just to frustrate Coco and win the game. But it was not going her way, and she was actually putting up all sort of attitude. You know how they do when they feel like they are gonna lose, or they probably do not have a lot to offer and all that. And she actually broke so many rules, and I just don't understand the coach. The coach was the referee was like being so siding Laura and not doing what she was supposed to do. She was extremely very slow throughout the game, and Laura kept complaining. And even where they were supposed to stand up, and she actually sat down, and the rest of it, I mean, Coco did not find that funny. And she actually, you can imagine being a black woman and like them, the world evolves around them, and Coco was really fighting for herself, having to speak up, having to complain about almost everything going on and the rest of it. And then eventually the coach, I think she was supposed to get multiple penalties. Laura was supposed to get a lot of penalties for what she did, but she ended up getting just one because Coco couldn't, have it anymore, and she kept trying to let them see. I mean, Laura was just, all she wanted was just to cheat and the rest of it. And then it was even the nerves that she got to come out to, she came to the media to their tears, trying to push the narrative towards I just don't understand why she did that. But man, sometimes they are just unbelievable and the rest of it. But then I am happy that Coco, she deserves everything because she played that game, with everything in her, and she got the result of the game she played. She actually won. And that also makes me I kind of understand why, black women or black people have to work how many times harder than their counterpart, because they really have to be there, and they have to. Can you imagine having to speak, having to shout, having all everything at once? Why she was all relaxed, trying to all she wanted was to shoot on that game. But I am glad that she couldn't. I mean, that cheating was far away from her, and Coco won the game. This is where I am gonna draw the coin. Thank you so much for the support. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.